Hello. Sitting down here in the Rio Grande Gorge. Frickin' gorgeous. Yeah, escaping out into nature in order to reset the field, in order to reset the energy. That's nice. Got a flower drifting by in the river that somebody offered to the river. Yeah, I'm thinking about different things. Lots of different energies moving right now, huh? My goodness. Today is August 11th, August 12th. I think it's August 12th, 2025. And there is just a lot going on. One of the things, let me see, what was I thinking about? There were a couple of different things I was thinking about. And one of them is about the body's ability to transmute energy out of our field and to clear it out of the field, clear it out of the body. In this way, I'm talking about hitchhikers, I'm talking about infiltrations, I'm talking about, implants, energetic implants. And here comes the sun. Nice and shiny and reflective. This is something, if you've worked with me, you're definitely aware of the ways in which we can attach energy into our field. That's a big part of what we do is we go through and clear your energy field of attachments or infiltrations, hitchhikers, things like connective cords. All these different types of energy can plug into our field. But in particular, I'm thinking about infiltrations, like thinking about things that attach onto us that utilize our energy. Like parasites. They're like non-physical parasites. And the way in which we can release these things, like when we're clearing them energetically, it's very effective and very helpful, but it's not the entire stack of energy. Sometimes we need to really do some physiological clearing as well, which most of the time I'm going to be speaking to people in regards to clearing, via cleansing, or via, parasite cleanses, heavy metal cleanses, things like that, liver gallbladder flush, all these different things, that also need to be applied to clearing the body. And I was thinking about, one of the ways in which I kind of learned about this, how the physical body is capable of transmuting the non-physical energy, is through my friend Amy, whom is no longer with us on Earth. A couple of years ago, she ended up coming down with a cancer diagnosis, colon, the C word in the colon, and I'd gone there to cleanse her and see if we could help arrest the growth of what was going on. And in that process, she had an ileostomy bag, an ostomy bag attached directly onto her small intestine, and the lower colon, the ascending colon that goes from the ileocecal valve and duodenum, I believe it's called, and then it kind of goes, there's like a downturn, and then it goes vertical up our right-hand side towards the liver, and that makes the transverse. Well, from on my side, it would be transversing that way, and then descending down the descending colon to the exit. And but she had where she had this tumor, they removed a large part of her colon there, and so she had this ostomy bag that was connected directly onto her small intestine. And so basically, the kind of the full circuit of it that would go from, rectum up the descending colon, then across, like that was tied off right there. And so, meaning no movement all the way through the colon. And so when we were cleansing her, I was still having her do enemas, doing flushes. So we were doing all sorts of different types of flushes in order to cleanse the body and, really stimulate the lymphatic system and the endocrine system, to begin releasing things. And I was hoping that, we could, within the remaining healthy tissue of her colon, we could even clear up maybe some of the infiltrations in there. And it was so interesting because what I was seeing is every time she would do a flush and she would evacuate the flush into the toilet, there was nothing to be seen. It was just whatever the flush was that we had done. But almost instantaneously, out of her small intestine into her ostomy bag would flow these black worms, and these were like worms. It was like significant parasites, like the size of like a worm you'd use for fishing. Maybe not the size of a night crawler, but like 4 inches long, solid, like black worms. And they would just like dump into the bag every time I would flush her. And yet, like, this type of parasite shouldn't be coming from small intestine, right? Like those are, usually when we see these big worms, they're inside the large intestine. And so, I kind of checked in around it, and what I was told was that that's what we were doing, is that these parasites were actually non-physical attachments. And while we were doing the flushing, flushing again like a closed system in the lower part of the colon, every time that we were flushing that, it was like stimulating her body to go ahead and begin transmutation of these attachments. These were like hitchhikers, different types of attachments that were stuck in her field in different ways, and it would pull it out of her field and it would transmute it down into the 3D physical, and it would dump them into her bag. And so I had that confirmed then when I spoke with my friends in South Africa that have trained me in this process. And they absolutely confirmed that this is what happens. In fact, quite a bit of what we see that exits a person's body is actually non-physical, like a non-physical origin in their energy field or in their emotional body or something like that, in their plasma field. And that it gets dumped, evacuated out of the body. It's brought down into density at the lowest level of density, which would be a physical manifestation of a parasite, and then it exits your body. And so, our bodies are these miraculous pieces of technology, and because of that miraculous piece of technology and its ability to be able to return to a point of homeostasis, that's why we see such miraculous healings when we're, running people through this cleanse process, seeing their bodies release incredible things and recalibrate into the authenticity of who they are, their divine crystalline blueprint that existed long before these distortions, these dis-eases, come into our field. And so, we can assist the body in calibrating in that kind of a way. And when we do, we have this ability to be able to release and clear things out of our field. So, this is like my partner Amy and I, we did a little like webinar episode several months ago where we were talking about like, what you should do when you end a relationship. And we were talking about, well, you should cleanse. Like you should do a parasite cleanse. You should do a liver gallbladder flush to clear the emotions, clear the emotions out of your field and to clear them out of your body and to clear those infiltrations, the things that we pick up from other people, and clear that out of the body. And so, this is, it's a really potent moment right now with a lot of energies in motion and a lot of energies getting stirred up. And so, I would really recommend that everybody be taking the time to get outside, That's always, I always say that number one, go step away from your monitor, step away from your phone, even though I'm out here and I'm on my phone. But you get the idea though, step away from those things and those frequencies and those energies and recalibrate in nature. And, we don't have any really big bodies of water around here like an ocean or a massive lake or anything, but we do have flowing rivers, like we do have this. And coming down here to the Rio, to the source of the life in this valley, one of the sources of life in this valley. And there's I'm walking along the beach here. I'm probably 3/4 of a mile downstream from the access point, and there's deer hoof prints. It's beautiful, it's wild, it's remote, it's total wilderness. But resetting and then coming and sitting next to the river in particular, maybe you can hear in the background, you can hear the water flowing over these little rapids, what would be rapids. The water level is really low right now, so this is all pretty easy going here. But when the water flows over that, it's creating negative ions that are in the air that you're breathing in, and it goes in and attaches to the free radicals. And you clear your field, literally reset your energy field when you're in an environment like this. And so I recommend that, getting out into nature, stepping out. And like I've said before, it doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to be wilderness. You could be living in the middle of a city and go step over there. You live in Brooklyn, go to Prospect Park, go to Central Park and go to the Ramble. You live in Los Angeles, go up to the Griffith Park Observatory, or go hike in the Hollywood Hills, or go to Malibu Canyon, or whatever. So there's wherever we are, wherever we find ourselves, you can even find nature just even by walking down the street and looking at those sycamore trees that are planted like landscaping. We always have that ability. Anyhow, I'm kind of rambling now, but yeah, I was just thinking about that, about these amazing abilities of these bodies to be able to go in and recalibrate and clear energies and bring us back into a point of balance. And we often don't even really need to do a whole lot to do that. And oh wow, as I'm sitting here talking, there are bighorn sheep. Oh man, I don't know, I can't zoom in. Let's see if I can see them. Bighorn sheep literally just walked. There they are. Can we see him? Oh, there he is. Now you can see him. See him right there on the edge of that tree. Looking down here. Those are bighorn sheep. Walking right down to the river. There's a second one. That's pretty cool. It's funny, I was feeling something, but they're, walking down to the river to get a drink. I literally was just saying there were deer tracks right over here in the sand, and there also are bighorn sheep. There's little white booties. Anyhow, I'll use that as a good way to wrap up. Anyhow, I hope you all can feel my joy and my gratitude by even being in a place like this. I'm so blessed. Anyhow, love you all. Hang in there, man. Take care of those bodies. The bodies are not we're not just waiting to exit stage left into the universe. You're not gonna, we shouldn't be just sitting here waiting to get picked up and taken back home or whatever. We're in these bodies for a reason. And I know I'm frustrated too, man. It's been a long road to walk, it feels, but this place is magic, and we need to take care of our bodies. It's part of the equation. You can't ignore one factor in the equation, and take care of the bodies and things will flow more smoothly, just like those guys are taking care of their bodies, getting a drink of water, which I think I'm going to do right now too. All right.